Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Johnson and this is my AEP867 Assignment 5. Overall, when I look back and I see some of the changes that be made, one of the main things is that I want them to be a little bit more original. It's always something that I always try to strive for, because anyone can just see what's been done and hey, let's just do the exact same thing. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of the class because we want them to be able to express themselves, and if they're not expressing themselves, if they just do what someone else did. So, and if they were doing a better job of matching the product to a technique, I think it would actually get them away from doing what's already been done. I think that for them to for me to be able to see that they can have better matching, I think I need to provide more opportunities for real world applications. Maybe, show a quick commercial and then just get everyone to say, well, what technique do you think this is? I know I do it a few times in a quiz, but maybe just a few more reminders to kind of help them through. And then the last thing is just kind of a general awareness of real practice. I feel like if I was to present these more as scenarios instead of just okay, this is the commercial unit. Now it'd be like, oh, well, this company is trying to hire you to be able to promote their product. How would you go about doing it? And then providing it more like a scenario, I think might kind of help them a little bit more and try to get them out of the idea that's I'm just doing this for a class. Well, no, there's actually a problem to be solved here. And I think that might actually help them a little bit. How do the tasks yield appropriate evidence of the identified understandings? For one, the finished commercial is the embodiment of the unit objectives. Identifying using the techniques, actually using them, not just identifying them, actually applying them. So it's not just a simple quiz that they just answer the questions on. They're actually doing something with the information. They identify the target audience. They link the technique to the target audience, especially in that video. And it's also the brainstorming, planning, filming, and editing that they do for all of their videos. How do the tasks involve a complex real-world application of the identified knowledge, skill, and understandings? Well, of course, the easy answer again is the end product of the unit, which is the commercial itself. And it's real-world, including the processes in the creation. Some of the different things, we look at the different problems, we provide the solutions, we look at the different techniques, look at the target audience, we do all those things that they really do in the real world. And one of the byproducts of this unit is, include the students' awareness of the techniques as they unfold in advertisements in many instances, because that's really what I want them more or less to take away from this unit, is that, when they're actually watching an advertisement, they see, oh, I see what they're doing there. And so they know to kind of counteract, some of the propaganda that we see on a daily basis. And it does help them to be more active in their reading and their engagement and not really just taking things at face value. How are a variety of appropriate assessment formats used to provide additional evidence of learning? In this particular case, there are some formal assessments that are done. For one is the pre-assessment commercial quiz, which is one of the entry tickets, so I can kind of gauge at where they're at, and then once they actually create the commercials, I can see, okay, I see the progress that's been made. They also do planning documents as well as the actual commercial. Once again, now some informal assessments. I do, one-to-one where I'll look at them, I'll watch their stuff, I'll interact with them, tell them what they need to work on, what they need to change, things to consider, as well as they'll get feedback from their peer and peer reviews and such, and they walk around and check each other, see how they're doing. And it also can be seen in the entry and exit tickets. How are students given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance? This really is the major part of the entry and exit tickets, because a lot of reflection does happen, especially on the final one that we see here. How confident do you feel about finishing commercial, and why do you feel that way? And review the rubric questions from below. How do you think you did in this project? And those are things I specifically do for every single assignment. And that's the major example, but I do a whole lot of different entry and exit tickets. It could be a review from what we did before, asking, well, how do you think about this? How do you feel when you're affected by a commercial? What do you do to counteract it? And you name it. So for the most part, those are the different things that I really consider as far as looking into the future, or some of the changes, as well as the different considerations when it comes to instructional and design in those regards. So, all right, thank you very much, and take care, everybody.